Most palaces are built to impress visitors. Versailles was built to control a nation. At first glance, the Palace of Versailles looks like pure luxury. Golden gates, endless mirrors, manicured gardens stretching to the horizon. A monument to excess. A symbol of royal arrogance. But that is only the surface. Because Versailles was never just a royal residence. It was a political machine, a psychological weapon, and ultimately, a warning about what happens when power disconnects from reality. To understand why Versailles matters, we must look beyond its beauty and into the fear that created it. In 1648, France was in chaos. A young boy watched angry crowds storm the streets of Paris. He saw nobles turn against the crown. He saw mobs force their way into royal spaces. That boy was Louis XIV. He never forgot the feeling of vulnerability, never forgot the sound of rebellion. And when he became king, he made a decision that would reshape France. He would never again allow power to be close to the people. So Louis XIV left Paris. He chose a quiet hunting lodge, miles away from the city. And there, in the countryside, he began building something unprecedented. Not a palace, a system. Versailles was designed to trap power, not display it. Louis XIV forced the French nobility to live there. Dukes, counts, princes, all required to attend the king daily. But life at Versailles was expensive, painfully expensive. Nobles spent fortunes on clothes, ceremonies, and appearances. They competed for access, for attention, for the privilege of holding the king's candle or watching him wake up. While they obsessed over etiquette, they lost control of their lands. And while they fought for favor, Louis ruled alone. Versailles neutralized rebellion without a single battle. That is why it mattered. The palace itself reinforced the message. The Hall of Mirrors reflected not just light, but dominance. Every surface reminded visitors, the king was everywhere, the king was everything. Versailles presented power as eternal, unquestionable, divinely ordered. But illusions are fragile. The more perfect Versailles appeared, the more disconnected it became from the real France beyond its gates. Outside the palace, peasants starved. Bread prices rose. Anger grew. Inside the palace, chandeliers glittered, and history was quietly preparing its response. By the late 1700s, Versailles no longer represented strength. It represented blindness. When revolution came, it did not attack Versailles first. It attacked the idea Versailles stood for, the belief that rulers were untouchable, that luxury could exist without consequence, that power could isolate itself forever. Versailles survived the revolution physically, but it never recovered symbolically. The palace became a museum, a frozen reminder of what absolute power looks like before it falls. Versailles is not just a tourist destination. It is a lesson. It teaches us that power often hides behind beauty. That control does not always arrive with violence, and that distance between leaders and reality eventually collapses. Versailles was more than a royal palace. It was a mirror, reflecting both the height of human ambition and the cost of forgetting the people below. And that is why, centuries later, its story still matters.